Good evening, Justin from Bringing Learning to Life, and tonight we're going to talk about my teacher thought I was smarter than I was, so I was. This is a great quote that I saw on a poster one time, and I really believe that it should be in every school. It was said by a 6-year-old, I don't know who, but I think it's powerful for all teachers to see, because it boils down to teacher expectations, teacher belief, teacher mindset about a student, and the words that we're speaking to students, which I talk about a lot, our actions that we're showing to students are very powerful. And I just want us to think about our language, verbal and our body language, and our actions every single day, and the messages that they send to students, especially with some of the labels that we use in education. We use a lot of labels, and the labels are intended for good because they're intended to help us communicate with each other better. They're intended to help students with disabilities, so we label students as ADHD or ODD or BED, and we give all these labels to students, and sometimes we even label students AIG, and what it sometimes does though is box them in, because all of these labels were diagnosed usually because of a test, and we know that certain students maybe don't test well. And so sometimes they're defined by these labels, and maybe it's not really who they are. And sometimes as teachers, when we are getting our folders at the very beginning of the year, or we're looking at a child's profile and we see these labels, BED, ODD, ADHD, ADD, it tends to limit our mindset. I'm speaking even for myself, I know I did it, about a child's ability, because you're seeing the child's weaknesses on a piece of paper usually, or the things that they struggle with and the modifications that you need to give them, and you're not necessarily seeing their strengths. It's not telling you that they're advanced in music, or advanced in art, or advanced in being a great public speaker, or advanced in writing. So it's usually giving you their limitations. Another thing that labels do also in terms of the AIG is sometimes limit students who aren't labeled AIG. They think that they're not advanced. They think that they're not as smart as the AIG kids. And that's just not true. I even myself was never labeled AIG because I didn't test well. I even had to take the SAT 7 times to get into the college that I wanted to go to because I didn't test well. So I was never labeled AIG, but that doesn't mean that I wasn't smart. And I'm thankful to have parents and grandparents and aunts and uncles that spoke those positive words, and teachers, and didn't set me into a label of not being advanced or AIG, because I was smart. But so many of our students don't get that opportunity that I got. They think, well, I'm not AIG, I'm not honors, I'm not advanced, so that makes me just regular. And you're not regular. You may be not good at test taking, but you may be a great public speaker. You may be a great electrician. You may be great at working on cars, and you're advanced in areas that maybe others are not advanced in. We all have strengths and we all have weaknesses, and it's our job as teachers to help students see their strengths. I don't know about you, but I see the plumber that comes to my house when I have a problem with my pipes as very advanced. They have a skill that I don't have, and I couldn't function in my house without their skill. When my car breaks down and I need a mechanic to fix whatever it is that's going on, and I have no idea what the problem is because I don't even know how to change the oil in my car, I don't have that skill, but somebody else does. And it might just be one of those kids that we're labeling as ADD and regular. And so I think we need to be careful with our labels. I know that labels are not going away in education. I realize that. And again, I know the reason why we use them. But we as teachers have to be cognizant of what we're having as our mindset and the language that we're speaking to students, to not box them in to a label, because all students are capable of something, and we have to help them realize those strengths that they have. We also have to help them work on the weaknesses, because all of our students have weaknesses and all of us have strengths. And the great thing about teaching is being able to help students realize their potential and maximize those strengths and help grow those weaknesses. And that's when you think that students are smarter than they are, when you believe in them, when you use the language that shows them that you believe in them every single day, it starts to sink in. It starts to help change the mindset of a child who didn't think that they were smart, who didn't think they were good at public speaking, who didn't think they were good at writing. So keep encouraging your students, keep believing in your students, and keep using that language of affirmation, because whether you see it or not, it's starting to sink in with many of your students. Hope you guys have a wonderful night, and I look forward to talking with you next week.